Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be going over our top 5 waterproofs for 2024. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, today we're going to be looking at our top 5 waterproof jackets. We've gone for a range of different jackets for different occasions, different waterproof membranes and different waterproofing systems to give you a really nice varied approach. We've got jackets all the way from things that can be used for casual use to multi-day trekking, and jackets that are more designed for multi-day trekking up to alpinism as well. Okay, so to kick things off, we have the Patagonia Torrent Shell 3-layer. This is a really nice jacket that offers a lot of features and really good quality materials, but at a good price point. The big thing for this at that price point is it's using a 3-layer construction. So we've got our outer fabric, which is a 50 denier recycled nylon ripstop, which is a nice durable outer material. Behind that, we've got our waterproof membrane, which is H2No, and then behind that, we've got an internal liner as well. What 3-layer means to you as the customer, it means you're going to get a really nice durable jacket. So that waterproof liner, which is relatively fragile, is protected both on the outside from external elements, but also on the inside from any snags that could happen on the inside of the jacket. So it's just going to give you a jacket that's potentially going to last you longer than if you were to go for maybe a 2.5 or a 2-layer construction. So a really nice option, and it's not something we see very often within the price range of this jacket. So a really good job from Patagonia there. In terms of features, we're seeing a relatively good feature set, but we are seeing something stripped back just to keep that price in that nice ballpark. So the first thing you'll notice is that we are using a storm flap for all of our zips. So on the main zip, our pit zips and our pocket zips. Still using a really nice high quality YKK zipper, so a good level of durability and longevity. But you'll see we've got both an internal storm flap and an external storm flap rather than making the zip a taped zip. All this does is just helps keep that price down a little bit lower. And like I said, for a 3-layer constructed jacket, it does sit in a really good price point. And built into the collar, we see our adjustment toggles for the hood. Our hood is a really nice hood. It's got a really nice fit and it's got a really nice reinforced brim just to help it keep the water from running down your face. So that brim sits outright like so. Just keeps the elements off your face. Really nice little feature there. The hood is fully adjustable. So we have a number of different adjustment points. The first of which are these two on the front here with an internal toggle system, so it's out of the way, isn't going to cause any snag hazards, isn't going to hit you in the face, anything like that. And that helps adjust the front end of the hood. And then we've got an external toggle system as well, which allows you to change the volume of the hood. So it gives you a really nice fit. It means it's not going to blow off in any windy weather. Making our way down the jacket, obviously we've spoken about the main zip. We come to another zip under the armpit for pit ventilation. This is a 2-way YKK zipper, so you can open it in a multitude of different ways. You can allow a certain amount of airflow depending on how the rain's coming down and how it's coming in. And like I said, that's backed with a storm flap again. We have got pre-articulated sleeves, and at the end of them we've got a Velcro cuff, which just helps to get a really nice fit around the lower part of your arm so that the sleeve doesn't adjust or move too much while you're out using the jacket. Coming down, we've got 2 lower pockets, both again using a storm flap with a high quality YKK zip. Relatively big pockets. I don't think you quite get a map in there, but plenty big enough for other essentials. And then finally at the bottom, we've got a single point hem adjustment as well. So we're getting a lot of jacket within this price point, which is really what Patagonia are trying to do with the Torrent Shell. And it's an excellent option for people who are looking for a bit of an all-rounder jacket. So maybe you'd like to go off for walks at the weekends and stuff, but primarily your jacket's going to be used maybe for going around town, walking to work, that kind of thing. This is a really good option. However, it also fit well in someone who's looking for a really good jacket for, they do like your occasional walking to work in, but you want something that you can still use at the weekends for your multi-day trekking. This would still be up to scratch. It's a really good, rebreathable, waterproof jacket at a really good price point. Next up, we're going to cover 2 jackets at the same time because they're both from 2 different brands, but they are quite similar in terms of their specs, their fabrics, and that kind of thing. And the main difference between the 2 of them is actually the fit. So on one side of me, we've got the Rab Kangri, and on the other side, we've got the Mountain Equipment Mackley jacket. So both of these are using a Gore-Tex Performance waterproof membrane, and both are using a 3-layer construction. We've got a 70 denier outer fabric on the Rab, and we've got a 75 denier fabric on the outside of the Mountain Equipment. So an ever so slightly more durable outer fabric on our Mountain Equipment jacket. So like I said, they're both very similar. There are a few key differences in terms of their feature sets, but in terms of like their waterproofing and their fabrics, they're very, very close. So we'll start with the Mountain Equipment and then we'll pop over to the Rab in just a second. So starting from the top, we've got a really nice helmet compatible hood. It's got a really nice rigid brim on it, just like we saw with the Patagonia, but a step up in terms of its rigidity. Going to keep that weather off your face and make sure you've got a slightly more comfortable walking experience. In terms of adjustments, it's exactly the same as what we've just seen. 2 toggles down here to help reduce the size of the opening, and then 1 on the back to help reduce the volume of the jacket. Making our way down, we're now met with a high quality YKK Vislon zipper. So really nice high quality zip, which is taped, so it's going to help keep a lot of the water out without the need of a external storm flap. But we do see a internal storm flap just to give it a bit of backup, a bit of security, to make sure you get no water coming in through the zipper, especially if it's driving rain straight into the front of you. This is also a 2-way zipper, so if you were doing a bit of climbing or a bit of winter skills stuff and you're wearing a harness and belaying, you can do that with the waterproof on and still fully zipped up. Coming down, we've got our pockets. So we've got a Napoleon pocket on our chest, which is a really nice large pocket. And then we've got 2 lower pockets that have been moved up slightly than what we saw on the Patagonia one, so that harness could be worn externally and you can still have access to these pockets. These pockets are also a little bit bigger. This side considerably bigger. This one a little bit bigger than what we saw. This one's a little bit smaller just because obviously we've got that Napoleon pocket as well. This side you could definitely get an OS map in there if you wished. On the inside of the jacket, we are also seeing an internal pocket just there. So if you want to keep anything safe and sound, that's a really good one to use. It's a good security pocket, it's a zip pocket, and it's a good place to keep things like your wallet and potentially your phone as well. And then at the bottom, we are seeing a 2-point adjustment system, so you can get a really nice secure fit and a really comfortable fit for long periods of time. Making our way down the sleeves, we're seeing pre-articulated sleeves, and we're seeing a nice low profile hook and loop system with a slight extension on the cuff just to cover up the cuff of any gloves you might be wearing. A really nice fit, it gives you a nice secure fit. It's nice and easy to adjust on the fly when you're out and easy to do with gloves. And then underneath the sleeve we are seeing again a taped zip, 2-way YKK zip, pit zip. So a nice level of ventilation, and just like we discussed with the Patagonia, you can adjust it to a multitude of different places to make sure that no water gets in depending on how the rain's hitting you, and also to tailor the amount of ventilation you're getting from the jacket. So overall, a really nice jacket, orientated towards your day hiking, multi-day trekking, and maybe just starting to scrape into those winter skills areas. Nice durable outer fabric, good level of breathability from that Gore-Tex membrane, and a good feature set as well. Now we move over to the Kangri, and we're seeing some very similar features, but we're seeing a few other features as well. So starting at the top, we've got a very, very similar hood, really nice rigid brim to it, again, just to keep that water off your face. And we've got our 2 points of adjustment on the front with that internal toggle system, and 1 at the back to help with the volume of the hood. This is a helmet compatible hood as well, so you could wear a helmet under it if you wished. We're seeing a really nice high quality YKK Vislon main zipper, so a taped zip, again backed up with an internal storm flap just to lesser the chance of any water migrating its way through the zipper, and if it does, it's then caught by the storm flap. A slightly nicer zip puller, I know that sounds silly, but it's a slightly bigger, bulkier one to grab, so if you're wearing gloves, a bit easier to get hold of, and the zipper is still a 2-way one, so you can use this if you're belaying. Making our way down, we've got 2 YKK zip taped pockets on the front. Both of those are definitely big enough for a OS map. You can see it comes all the way down to just this lower part here, and all the way up to here to this stitch line at the top here. So really nice, well-sized pocket, easily big enough to get all your essentials. We do lose the external Napoleon pocket on this jacket, so you're not getting quite as many pockets. So if that's an important feature for you, this might be a slightly better option. But we do still keep our internal security pocket. Again, good for any essentials, things you'd like to keep close to hand and safe. Making our way down the sleeves, we've met with pre-articulated sleeves again, and we've got that hook and loop system very similar to what we've had on the mountain equipment. Gives you a really nice secure fit, allows you to tailor the fit, and these are pre-extended sleeves on both jackets, so when you reach your arms out, they still cover your entire arm rather than riding up. So they're a little bit longer than you necessarily need them, and that Velcro allows you to adjust the sleeve to fit you well. Underneath our arms, we are seeing a two-way YKK waterproof zipper, which allows you to vent your armpit, vent the jacket, and give you a bit of airflow, like with the other jacket. Two-way zipper allows you to tailor that to fit your needs, whether that's to allow more or less airflow, but also to make sure that it's in a position where no water's going to get in. Making our way down to the bottom, we've also got a 2-point adjuster on the bottom of the jacket, allowing us to tailor the fit, tailor each side really nicely, and get a really nice secure overall fit. This is a really, really nice moorland, hillland walking jacket. Definitely a multi-day trekking jacket if you're looking for a 3-layer Gore-Tex option. It's got a great level of breathability with that Gore-Tex membrane. So yeah, a really nice option if you're looking for a sort of day jacket, multi-day trekking jacket. And like I said, you could just start to tickle into that winter skills area as well. Now, in terms of the differences, other than those few features we discussed, like the pocket, the other thing is the fit. Rab's fit tends to be a little bit more roomy, so if you like a little bit more space under your jacket, then this would be a slightly better option for you. If you like a slightly more tailored fit, so it's not advertised as athletic fit, but it tends to be a bit more tailored with mountain equipment, then this would be the one to go for. So next up we have the Paramo Alta 3, and this stands apart from the rest of the jackets we've been looking at today because it uses a very different waterproofing system. All the other ones we've looked at today use a membrane of some description, which is like a physical barrier to stop that moisture getting to you, to stop that wet rain getting to you. Whereas Paramo uses something called knit wax analogy. Now this is a combination of a few different fabrics that helps move moisture away from the body. So the outer fabric helps shrug off the majority of the rain. It's got a DWR coating that's important to keep up with that when it comes to washing and reproofing. And then underneath that we've got a pump liner, which is made up of lots and lots of little hairs, which helps move water away from your body. So this means a couple of things. The first thing is it's extremely breathable, so it's a nicer environment to be in for longer. And it also just makes it a slightly more comfortable jacket to wear. It makes it a lot softer, so there's not the usual crinkle that you get with a membrane jacket. A lot of you may know that from Gore-Tex jackets. So yeah, it just makes it a more pleasant experience to wear. Now there obviously are some drawbacks from that. First one is it's quite a heavy piece. Now, because of the amount of ventilation, we'll come on to that in just a bit, and the fact that it's a very breathable jacket, the idea is that you'll probably wear it throughout your day. So if it's been raining and it stops, you won't feel the need to take it off and put it away. It is very heavy. So if you're intending to have a jacket that you pack away for long periods of time and you want to keep your bag relatively light, this might not be the option for you. The other thing to consider is it is not pressure leak proof. So if you were to lean up against something wet for a long period of time, eventually that moisture would make its way through the jacket and you would get damp. Obviously, once you then move away from that object, it will start working in and pull that moisture away from your body. So a few things to consider there, but something that's really good for the UK climate because we get it very warm and we get it very wet. So it's a really nice item for that because it keeps you a slightly nicer temperature and you feel a little bit less clammy in this because there's no physical barrier keeping that moisture or that sweat and that hot air in the jacket. Moving on to the features, we still see a really good number of features and Paramo are very good at ventilating and adding plenty of pockets. Starting at the top, we've got a really nice hood. It's got a really nice rigid brim. This whole hood can be rolled away if you don't want to use it and stowed away using the poppers that you'll see around the collar. It's a fully adjustable hood. We've got a number of points of adjustment, both on the front and on the rear. The rear adjustment is much lower on this than the other ones. It comes down to sort of the back of your neck. Moving down, we've got our zip. This has got a storm flap on the back of it, and what you also get is a number of poppers positioned throughout the jacket. So what you can do is popper it up under your zip and allow a bit of extra ventilation into the jacket, helping you maintain a good temperature. I mean, you don't have to keep taking this jacket on and off. Instead, you can just vent it and continue your walk, meaning you don't have to obviously stuff it back into your rucksack and carry it. This is a two-way zipper, so it could be opened from the top and from the bottom, just to allow you to belay in the jacket if that's what you wish to do. Talking just about the zip puller, we have a slightly different design to some of the other ones. You can lock it up in this position, which stops it hitting you in the face if you're in strong winds, stops it flapping about and making loads of noise, and it just stows it away nicely. When it's time to use it, you can just unclip it and it gives you a really nice big zip puller, which is easy to access even with gloves on. So a really nice little feature there. Coming down, we've got two pockets. One is a zip pocket, which is perfect for keeping things in. It's easily big enough for an OS map. You can see just how wide it is, and it goes all the way down to there and up to this stitch line just up here. On the other side, we see a Velcro pocket, which is designed to house your compass. So you'll see there's a little compass attachment point on the outside of the jacket, so you can attach your compass to it, stow it in there, and it's easy to get in and out when you need it. We are also met with an internal pocket as well. So like I mentioned, Paramo really do go to town when it comes to pockets on their jackets. If we continue that trend, we move down, we've got two really big zip pockets on the lower part of the jacket as well. Again, still big enough for an OS map. Maybe not a laminated one, but certainly a non-laminated OS map would fit in there absolutely fine. Making our way back up, we've got our sleeves. You'll notice on our sleeves we've got some zips. These are the pit zips. Now, they're not where you necessarily would think a pit zip to be. Most jackets, they have them directly under your armpit. What Paramo have done is put them on the front of the jacket so that when you're moving, you're gathering air and driving air into the jacket, acting a bit like a bellow system to help circulate air throughout the jacket and again help ventilate it as much as possible. Because the pump lining is still there, you're not going to get wet because that will shrug off any light moisture that gets through this hole, and you can obviously unzip it and zip it to adjust the amount of ventilation you get, and that's located on both sides of the jacket. And finally, feature-wise, we've got a 2-point adjustment at the bottom of the jacket, which just allows us to independently change each side and get a really nice fit to make sure this jacket doesn't ride up and cause you any issues. Another thing to note about Paramo is the fit is relatively roomy. It's quite a baggy fit, and it also comes down a little bit longer, especially at the back. So if you like a longer coat, you like something that covers your back, the lower back, a bit better, then this would be a really good option for you. In terms of its usability, it's definitely good for multi-day trekking and hiking if you intend to keep this jacket on. If you think you're going to be packing it away, it's quite a heavy item to carry. I think it's about 800 grams. So it just depends a little bit on where you're going and what you're doing. This would be perfect for winter, good for dog walking, general day walking and day hiking as well. And then finally, but by no means least, we have the mountain equipment Lotsy, an absolute staple within the outdoor industry for a really, really high performing waterproof coat. This kind of jacket is really suited to the person that's looking for the best they can get when it comes to waterproofing, breathability and functionality. And is really intended for anyone from a multi-day trekker all the way up to your winter skills, winter mountaineering. This jacket really can do it all. We'll start with the fabrics. We're seeing a 3-layer construction. We're seeing 2 different deniers of fabric on the outside of the jacket. So the lower portion, the low wear areas, areas that aren't going to get as much friction or as much wear, we're seeing a 40 denier material helping keep the jacket nice and light. And then over the shoulders, hood and down the sleeves, we're seeing a slightly higher denier, 80 denier, just to reinforce those areas. These are high wear areas, shoulders for rucksacks and packs carrying heavy loads, and obviously down the sleeves, the chance of scuffs and scrapes are a lot higher. What this means is you're getting a lightweight but still very durable jacket. Underneath that, we have got the Gore-Tex Pro membrane, which is an incredibly breathable and fully waterproof membrane. So you're going to have a really nice experience in there. It breathes a lot better than Gore Performance, but obviously there is a step up in price when it comes to that. And then below that, we've got an inner lining as well. Like I said, back all the way at the start with the Patagonia 3-layer construction means you've got a protection on the outside and on the inside, making the jacket last longer. In terms of features, we've got a really good feature set. We've got a fully helmet compatible hood, like we've seen on a lot of the other ones. It's a very high volume hood, so it's easy to get your helmet under there. And when you twist your head left and right, the hood doesn't twist with you. It doesn't stay in one position. We've got a really nice rigid peak to make sure that all that water or rain or snow comes off of the front rather than running down your face. We've got 3 points of adjustment, 2 in the front with hidden toggles into the collar and 1 at the back to help reduce the volume. On the front of the jacket, we've got a YKK Vislon molded zipper. And what this is an incredibly high quality zipper, but it's also one that if, for example, one of these teeth was to malfunction or you were to break it, the zip still works. So the last thing you want to be doing is out on a winter skills day in some really cold, really nasty conditions, and you're unable to zip your jacket up. So a really nice feature there for those of you that are looking to push this jacket to its limits. You see the same zips on the Napoleon pocket and on the 2 lower pockets as well, both raised up slightly to allow you to put a harness on the outside of this jacket. However, you can also throw it on over the top of your harness, and it's a 2-way zipper, so you can belay with the coat still on, and we've got that popper at the bottom as well. Moving down just to the bottom of the jacket, we've got a 2-point adjustment, but it gives you adjustments for independently for both sides at the front and both sides at the back, so you can get a really, really good fit with this jacket. In terms of fit, this is an alpine fit jacket, so it's a little bit closer fitting than the Makalu and the Kangri we've just looked at. So yeah, it's worth noting this is a much slimmer fit, a more athletic fit, because we don't want lots of baggy material hanging around as if we're doing some proper alpine stuff. Coming down to the sleeves, we've got a two-way YKK pit zip. So exactly the same as all the pit zips we looked at in terms of being able to be opened in multiple directions to allow as much or as little ventilation as possible. Pre-articulated sleeves, and then we've got a hook and loop cuff on the end there, just so we can get a nice secure fit, especially if you're going to be wearing gloves. The last thing you want is this riding up or moving too much when you're working hard and using the jacket. The sleeve is a little bit longer than what you would necessarily look for in a normal hoodie or a jacket, and that's just so when you outstretch your arms, if you're climbing, the sleeve doesn't ride up and cause any cold spots or any exposed flesh. So that Velcro cuff there just helps maintain a good fit and keeps the sleeve in location. So overall, the Lotsy is redesigned for those of you that are looking to do some proper stuff. You're out for long periods of time, you're out on a regular basis, and you're looking for the best of the best when it comes to a waterproof jacket. Like I said, real staple within the outdoor industry, and you definitely can't go wrong with the Lotsy. So that was a quick look at our top 5 waterproofs for 2024. If you have any other suggestions, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. And like always, if you could like and subscribe, it really helps us out. See you next time.